Good evening, friends. Welcome to the BISP Solutions. This is Raj Bhatt, and today we will be covering the topic that if the total revenue is not the sum of all revenues, so how we would rectify it. So this is the major ticket that we have to solve, and what we call ticket here, it is totally a problem. Whatever the problem is occurring while using the instance, while doing the planning or the forecasting, it is simply the ticket. That is simply the problem that we have to solve. And another thing is that whosoever problem is switch and whatever the problem which will cover in front of us when we will do the planning as well as forecasting of the financial data. So absolutely it will be the barrier when we will just do the problem solving skills on the instance. So absolutely uh, it will create an barrier and the obstacles for the professionals when they will go for the forecasting of past financial data and historical data. So it is really an difficult task for them to solve this problem when it would be in the ground zero area. So that's why we have a lot of tickets, a lot of problems that already occurred and already faced by many professionals, and they have just kept in the documentation for other beginners so that same problems cannot be faced by the different professionals or the freshers. So the ticket that we will do today, it is total revenue is not the sum of all revenues. That is this ticket. So far we have just covered a lot of things, and we have discussed many problems that professional faced in their past live demo instance and the live uh, practical experience. So the things that we have discussed so far, it is reclassifying by changing parent member, metadata load procedure for a new cache account, and methods to reclassify the products. So under this we have gone through many of the methods, that was manual reclassification, transactional element VV is another name of that method, as well as the mass and the batch reclassification. That's really a good method for the profit. Then third method is system driven, automated rule based. So here we fosters the growth, here we foster and promote system driven approach that has to be conducted by different methods. Today we will look on checking the account aggregation, or the instance of Oracle planning, that is PBCS, where total revenue is not the sum of all revenue accounts, is almost always related to how the parent account is aggregating the its children, especially in the presence of formulas or the dynamic calculations. Here are the most common reasons and the steps to correct the issue. So there are two methods to check the issue. First one we will see here. So first is the most frequent cause is the aggregation setting on the parent account. Total we have the two methods. So here we can write it is the total revenue rectification. So this is the total revenue rectification, because we are rectifying the total revenue. So first step, what is the first step, that how we can check the account aggregation property. So in the action update consolidation operator, you have to follow certain steps. So here we can check the things. We can check the account aggregation property first. Aggregation property first. So first we will navigate to the dimension editor for the account dimension. So first and foremost, what we will do here, we will navigate to the dimension editor for the account dimension. So this would be our first step. After this, we are supposed to locate the parent member for total revenue. We have to locate the parent member for total revenue. Total revenues. Check the consolidation operator, then check the consolidation operator. Then we will ensure the consolidation operation for total revenue parent is set to plus, that is addition. If it is set to a formula or a dynamic calculation or an incorrect sign convection, so absolutely, like for example in an FCCS based application, revenue is typically on a credit but an incorrect sign might be applied, so the summation will be wrong. So let's keep it safe and then refresh the database to apply the change. So these are the method you have to follow. Another thing is review formulas. Review formulas on the child accounts. So if one or more of the child revenue accounts has a member formula, this can interfere with a simple aggregation. So what you are supposed to do under this, you have to check for a dynamic calculation or the two pass. If a child revenue member uses a formula, consolidation operator, or the parent member may need to be calculated twice to correctly incorporate the formula results. In the dimension editor for the total revenue parent member, check the two pass calculation property and set the two pass calculation property to true or select the appropriate option depending on your application version. And then you have to follow the same step that we follow in the different methods, that is save and refresh the database. We also have a third method for it. It is verify account type normal storage or signage method. We can verify it. Verify account type and normal signage. So while similar to the aggregation property in some applications, the account type dictates the normal sign for data entry and aggregation. So what we are supposed to do under it? Just we have to confirm the account type. So in the dimension editor for the account dimension, verify that all revenue accounts it will include both children and the total revenue parent, have an account type that is consistent with the desired signage. Usually we call this as a revenue or the income. So what the second step that we have to follow, that is very important step, significant step that you cannot be neglected. So we cannot negotiate with this step. So this step is very much important. Make a note of it. So the application's default behavior for a revenue account type, so is typically aggregate positive numbers as positive, that is credit balance. So like if data is being loaded as negative, as a debit balance or the application configuration, so you have to customize the aggregation that may be incorrect. One more and the last, even second last, I would say, it's the step that is check business rules or the calculation script. It is also the method that is check business rules and calculation scripts. So if the total revenue member is calculated via a specific business rule instead of a simple hierarchy aggregation, the script logic is the problem. So what would be the action? So debug the calculation script. Open the calculation manager and find the business rule that calculates total revenue. The second step, if the script is attempting to calculate the total via a formula, it should explicitly sum the level 0 members of the revenue hierarchy. That is total revenue equal to sum children and all revenue accounts. Then go to the alternatively, the script may be the running complex formula on the parent that should actually be calculated at the level 0 and then allowed to aggregate it the naturally to the parent. If the script uses a fixed statement, ensure that all relevant dimensions are covered, versions are correctly addressed to include all data blocks in the calculation. Then validate the data form smart view. Like last thing is that the last option, I have to make it. It is validating. You have to validate the data form. So occasionally the display on a form can be misleading even if the calculation is correct in the queue. So first what you have to do, you have to open smart view or an ad hoc grid in the application. Place the total revenue account on a row and all its level 0 child accounts on a separate rows. Then check if the total revenue value in the ad hoc grid matches the manual sum of the children. And then if it matches, the issue is likely with the specific data form. That is, example would be a hidden row, an Excel formula override or an incorrect formula row. If it does not match, the issue is definitely with the calculation aggregation logic in the PBCS queue. So these are the methods, or I would say total revenue rectification, that how we can check it. So first we have thrown the light on the checking through the account aggregation property, where we have to support these all the steps, that is navigate to the dimension editor for the account dimension. Then we will locate the parent member for total revenues, and then we will check the consolidation operator. In the second step we will verify account type and the normal signage, and under this we will verify it from the account type. And the third step we will validate the data form view. Then we will review formulas on the child accounts. And the last, that is very much important step, that we can check business rules for calculation if it is correct or not. We can check the calculation scripts that we have made for the business rules. So this was all about the uh, uh, the rectification of total revenue, and I hope you have enjoyed this session. Thank you for watching this session.